Welcome to the Cruise Retreat Podcast. Hi, I'm Rita Perez, and I'm a travel advisor specializing in, you guessed it, cruise ship retreats. This podcast is for service-based entrepreneurs and corporate decision makers to learn more about staying everyone's favorite company with a cruise ship retreat. Ready to increase your client or employee retention? Listen in on this week's show. Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. It's Rita here and I am live back again. Man, I am so happy to be back on the podcast with you in kind of real time. But two, I am also super sad because I am incredibly missing my time on the Rhine River. If you have not been following me, please make sure to head over to my Instagram at Rita Ventures. I have so many fun videos, short little clips of some of the amazing experiences that I had while sailing the Rhine River. For the most part, I would say that this was a most magical trip, and I cannot pinpoint exactly if it's just because it was such an amazing trip, or two, I was just so eager to be traveling again after over a year of a hiatus of travel, for obvious reasons, of course. But I just wanted to go a little bit over the experience. I know that I have been talking so much about river cruising, and, I went on this not only to, obviously get some intel for my travel business, but I went as a student because it was a travel business coach that was hosting this marketing masterclass on the river. And as an attendee, there was so much incredible value that not only she provided on the marketing aspect of things, but also just to have this event happening on a river cruise just magnified, I think, the impact that I could have ever gotten at a local hotel here. If she was going to do something here locally in a hotel, would I have gone? Yes. Would I have gotten value from it? Yes, I believe so. But I just don't think, and this is what I call like the transformative bonding power of travel, I feel like having that travel experience probably 10x'd the overall transformation that I had. And when I say kind of like 10x, what does that mean? Like, not only am I fulfilled as a human, like as a person, that I got this just amazing travel experience, a bucket list experience, something that I have been wanting to experience for a while. But even if it wasn't on your bucket list, you had some amazing things, because our itinerary was just so chock full of amazing experiences. But the people that I met, not only, man, the crew is really tight on my heart, because they took care of us so well and made sure that we stayed safe during the whole duration of the cruise. Not only that, but we had an awesome time, obviously, amazing food, amazing experiences, not only with the onboard crew, but with the shoreside crew. There was an overwhelming sense of almost gratitude and humility that I felt, knowing that I was impacting the lives of others, that me being there on vacation, but also on a business trip, was impacting their lives, that they were able to do the work that they loved and make a living from it. That did not come lightly for me at all. And I think I'm very blessed. I don't want to say that, like, get this sort of savior complex, but it was truly an honor to be there and to be able to support them in that way. Also, the connections that I made. So I have now 2 colleagues actually in my local area who I would have never met had it not been for this trip. And we are going to make sure that we keep in touch. We're going to do like bi-weekly, not like 2 calls every week, but every other week. We're going to get in calls to kind of make sure that we're sticking to the goals that we like set when we were there, but also make sure that we're sticking to new goals and keeping each other motivated so that we're pushing each other forward. And I have not had that in a very long time, like just so supportive and being with people who are of equal mind. And this was all because our group leader, our coach, said yes to providing this opportunity for us. So I'm hoping to have some more interviews in the coming weeks that kind of break down a little bit more than what I can just say, but what my fellow attendees can say, and hopefully what our coach can come back and let you know what some of her takeaways were. So let's get a little bit into the experience, because we did start, this was a Rhine River cruise, and this one started in Amsterdam and ended in Basel, Switzerland, and we went through various parts of Germany and France. So one of the incredible experiences over in Amsterdam was visiting the Anne Frank house, which reservations do need to be made in advance, or you're not going to get in. One, or two, you may not get tickets to be able to go in, or standing in a long line to try and attempt that. It has been a long time, since, I obviously know the story of Anne Frank, but it has been a long time since I had kind of been immersed in that history. And to see where she lived and to kind of like step foot almost in history, again, a very humbling experience. And I was very glad to go in there, and it did remind me of a couple things, because there are similarities, I feel, in our world comparing to the world that she was living in during that time. Other things, notable things in Amsterdam were, of course, the canals. There are so many beautiful vistas and canals. Man, Europe is so green. When I came home, it was just a little sad and depressing here in the Central Florida area. I love being here. But if we're going to compare, like, there's just so many flowers and greenery everywhere. Like, everybody is so passionate about the earth over there. It was just really refreshing, and being able to, like, be in that different environment, it was just very uplifting. Boarding the ship was so, I remember even approaching by bus to get onto the ship, how overcome with emotions I was. This is my first cruise since January of 2020. And again, knowing the impact of that cruise. And this was also the maiden voyage of the ship we were on, which was a beautiful, gorgeous, oh my goodness, it was just so lovely. I can't wait to get back on her, the Ama Siena. Of course, here I am gushing. I am gushing so much. Also another experience, as I'm looking here at my photos, something that doesn't happen but was an amazing experience, obviously, to be there, was all the tour guides. And this is where I say, like, there is a sense of humility, in the sense that I was just so honored and touched, because it was so impactful for them, for us to be there. We were the first cruise that left Amsterdam in over a year because of everything that's gone on, and they had the most beautiful send-off with music and dancing and singing and flowers. It was just, I do have some videos of that on my Instagram. Following Amsterdam, we ended up in Cologne, Germany. So we started traveling down the Rhine River. I did a bike tour that day. It was one of my goals to try out at least one of the more active excursions. Now, with Amur Waterways, one of the benefits is that there are these different excursion types. So if you wanted to go biking or hiking, there were tons of different options throughout the different destinations we were on in our cruise. If you just wanted to do a regular walking tour, that was available. And then if you needed to go a little bit slower, if you had mobility issues, or if you're a klutz like I am and fell walking up the stairs one day, there are tours called gentle walking tours. So when I had my little accident, that's the tour that I took, because I wanted to take things a little bit slower. So it is nice to have all those different options, depending on even what mood you're on. If you wanted to go a little bit slower so you could take more pictures, gentle walking tour was perfect for that. That night, I was so elated because I had some of my German friends come visit me as well. We sailed off in the nighttime, and night sailing is just so spectacular because you can see the city so lit up. Then the next day, we sailed through the Rhine Gorge. And the Rhine Gorge might not mean anything to you if you have not studied or known too much about the Rhine River, but it is just the best vistas on this river because there are so many small castles and large castles and little towns along the river. There was over 40, I think, that we had seen, and it is just one of the best bonding experiences. Like, not only just a travel experience, but a bonding experience with the people that you are traveling with, not only in your group, but also just in general, the other passengers that are on the ship who are equally being as awed as you are at the beautiful vistas. And that is just one of the amazing things about river cruising. When I say you're traveling through a country, you get to see all this beauty. From the Rhine Gorge, we visited a small little town, which I think this is one of my favorite things about this itinerary, is that there was a nice mix of large towns and small towns. And this next small town is called Rudesheim. And what I had done was a gondola ride. So a gondola ride up above these massive vineyards, amazing views. At the top, there was like this whole field of lavender. You know, everybody's talking about all of the history. And you see me here, like little earth girl, taking videos and photos of the bees in the lavender. It was just a fantastic time. There, I was also able to visit with another friend. Our next day was in a stop called Ludwigshafen or Hafen. I'm sorry if I butchered that again. But the main one of the main attractions is to visit the castle at Heidelberg, which is what I had done. It has the world's largest wine vat in there, so that was pretty amazing to also see. And then some really fun shopping. From there, we went over to Strasbourg, and man, I was pleasantly surprised with France. I had heard different things about France, but the places that we visited were just so beautiful and so, for me, like quaint and homey. I think that is one of the things that disappointed me a little bit. Like when I had gone to Austria, I felt Austria, for me, at least the places that we had visited, was a little bit too metropolitan. And I don't know, when I'm visiting overseas, I do like that little small town homey feel. So Strasbourg, that was right up my alley. Of course, like one of the main attractions is seeing the Notre Dame of Strasbourg, which, oh my gosh, let me pick up my jaw because it is so magnanimous. Strasbourg is a really great day for some free time as well. So you could have done some shopping, some local eating. Some local eating is something that I would have loved to do, but with my dietary restrictions, I was a little bit uneasy. I know for next time, now that I'm a little bit more familiar with this itinerary, to do a little bit of research to find places that I would have been safe to eat at. The next stop that we had was in Breisach, Germany. Now, I did not go to Breisach, the Breisach area. You could have done like a Black Forest hike, which is something I'm looking forward to next time. Or you could have done what I did and visited a little town named Rickvier. And I say little town aptly because this is the little town that inspired Belle's Little Town from Beauty and the Beast. And oh my gosh, I think it was one of my favorite stops, not only because I had a little bit of shopping time, I was able to squeeze some shopping time in, but it was, again, just so beautiful. And you can see why it inspired the little town, because the people were so friendly. I cannot wait to go back to Rickvier. After that, we ended up in Basel, Switzerland. There's no excursion in Basel. You kind of like just dock there for the night and then you disembark the next day. So one of my friends, my cruise roommate and I, we did an overnight in Zurich. She spent 2 nights. I just spent 1 night just because of timing. And again, Zurich pleasantly surprised us. We thought it was also going to be a very metropolitan area, and that is not the case. At least that was not our impression. So I think this is why I'm so eager to go back, as there were so many pleasant surprises. We had awesome weather. Even though it was summertime, it was really cool. So I would say highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s. Obviously, I cannot gush enough about this itinerary, and I am so eager to get myself out there, and I'm eager to get you guys experiencing the world a little bit, regardless of whatever your station is. If you're in corporate, if you're a small business owner, if you're just a traveler that loves to try out new elevated experiences, this is definitely for you. And I am putting together a group that will be sailing July of 2023. I really, really hope that you're going to be able to attend with me, because I am just like, not only is the itinerary going to be awesome, but I'm hoping to plan a couple of special surprises just for you guys. So if you want more information, check out the link in the show notes. I have a Facebook group that I will be updating with so much information in the coming days. I am working on an information packet so that you can get the complete details of what you can do in the itinerary and what the itinerary looks like. And if you wanted to stay at a hotel pre or a hotel post and get some additional experiences on top of the Amazing River Cruise experience, please make sure to check out the group. It's called Cruise with Rita if you do a search on Facebook, but of course I will have the link in the bio. And my heart is just so filled with joy. At the very least, I will be having a webinar. So come on the webinar and experience a little bit, see the sights, check out my Instagram. And yeah, I cannot wait. Obviously, I am exuding enthusiasm because I cannot get back there sooner. So I want you to have the same heartwarming feelings that I do about going on this Amazing River Cruise experience. So that is all for me. You guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you back next week. Thank you for joining me on the Cruise Retreat podcast. Please subscribe and leave the show a rating on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to take a look at the show notes for important information and links. See you next week.